Welcome and thank you for joining us today for the Last Christian Podcast. We're so blessed to have you join us. It's time again to join Brother J.D. Williams in seeking the hope and glorious appearing of our great God and Savior Jesus Christ, chasing away the worries of the world and replacing them with the blessed hope. Where in a moment, in the twinkle of an eye, at the last trumpet, the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Brother J.D. Williams insists there must be a final person or last Christian to accept Christ before the sound of the trumpet. Will it happen today? Here now, Brother J.D. Williams.
At this time, I would like to introduce my guest today, and her name is Daisy Paige. And she is the author of the book entitled Unexpected Moments. And welcome to the show, Daisy. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Great. Well, now, I always like to start off by just saying or asking a very basic question, and that is, who is Daisy Paige? Whatever you're comfortable telling us.
Well, I am from a small town in mid-Texas called Anna, and I've lived here most of my life. I've tried to get away from this town several times, but every 4.5 years after I'm gone, I get brought back to the town and by some sort of tragedy or some event.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell me, how did you come to know Jesus Christ? Because, that's real important, I think, in really establishing the base of where everybody comes from.
Well, I became to know Jesus at an early age. My stepmother was a pianist at church. So we went to Southern Baptist Church. We went every Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and every Wednesday. I loved to sing. I would do solos. I would participate in Bible drills. I actually won second place in state Texas Bible drill when I was, I think, about 10 years old.
Excellent.
I became a Christian at the age of 8, maybe 9.
Okay.
And I lived for every day just studying my Bible and doing Bible devotionals from that age. So I went to church camp every summer. I just loved everything there was to know about the Bible and church. It was a big passion of mine.
And do you think that has helped you through life, or did it give you some challenges? Did you go through, I know I went through the teenage years and, I wasn't exactly what you would call a great Christian during my early life.
Yeah, I went through quite a bit of challenges. I don't think it would have been as easy had I not been a Christian. But yeah, I began to be sexually molested at the age of about 8.5, right after I became to know Christ. My immediate family member. And then at the age of 14, I was raped. I rededicated my life to Christ, and I asked, I got drugged. Someone drugged me with LSD and PCP. And I asked God, I'm such a Christian. I'm so devoted to you. Why are these things happening to me? Why do I feel like I'm cursed? Or why am I being punished? Well, I've dedicated my life to serving you, Lord.
Right.
And he said, Daisy, one of these days I want you to share a story with the world. You're going to have a great testimony, and you're going to share it with the world, and you're going to help others.
Well, it sounds like that you kind of went through it there for a while, and you're to be commended for making it that far. So
that's just a dent in the surface.
You got more to say? Go ahead. I mean, I don't want to pry. That's not what this is about. I want to get into your book, which of course you have titled as Unexpected Moments. So tell us a little bit about that book. Number one, I guess, is when did you write it, and how long did it take you to write it?
I began writing it in October of 2021, and I finished it actually in January of 2022. So it only took me about 3.5 months, and then in March the 7th it was published.
Okay.
So it was really a short time.
Okay.
The reason why I named it Unexpected Moments is because everyone has their unexpected moments.
Right.
All of my moments that are in the book are unexpected. I never expected these kind of type of moments.
Right.
But the reason for writing my book is God told me, first of all, I've been diagnosed with a rare terminal neurological condition. And he came to me and he said, Daisy, you don't have much time left. But I need you to tell your story first from the beginning. And so I was going to go see my friend in Vermont, and she got COVID, so we were unable to make that trip. And we were driving by a marquee at a church in our town, and it said that Kirk Cameron was going to be there the following week. So my husband asked me if we'd rather go there than since I couldn't go to Vermont. So I said, of course, I always wanted to meet Kirk Cameron. That would be great. So we went there, and I bought a VIP ticket and took my stepmother with me. And she's a nurse, and she didn't have time to change her clothes that day, and I'm in a wheelchair. So she was in her scrubs, pushed me around in a wheelchair. And we were up at the front of this, about the front row, and it was question and answer time. And I raised my hand, and I put it down because I got a little shy, starstruck, because Kirk Cameron's the one I was going to have to ask the question to. Then this guy in the middle of the road, he raised his hand, and Kirk said, yes, sir. He said, the lady down on the end has a question for you. And I was like, oh, boy, put me on the spot here. So he said, yes, ma'am. I said, first of all, are you going to be doing another Seavers reunion with Growing Pains? And he said, well, they were thinking about it, but, Alan Thicke had passed away, but the other characters were talking about doing one. And I said, also, I was a huge fan of yours growing up. You were my celebrity crush, and I had your posters all over my walls. And I wrote you a letter, and I asked you for your autograph, and I gave you 3 months, and you never wrote me back, so it really broke my heart. And I tore your posters down off my walls. I said, why didn't you write me back and give me that autograph? He said, well, you know what? I'll make it up to you tonight. Well, picture time came along. I was just going to wait and see if afterwards he'd come down and take his picture with me since I was in the wheelchair. And the same man that raised his hand came over to me and he said, would you like me and this other gentleman to put your wheelchair on the stage for you? And I said, you don't have to do that. I will just wait until the end. He said, no, we want to. Let's get you up there. Let me go in front of them. So as I got up there, it was my turn. I gave Kirk a bracelet that said defeatmsa.org, which is the name of the disorder that I have. It's MSA, multi-system atrophy. And he said he would research and look into that. And I asked him if he'd help me stand up so I could take my picture with him. And he did. After the service, we all went outside and had little campfires and sing and worship a little more. And I asked the security guard, I said, could you see if he'll sign my ticket for me? And he went and got Kirk, and he came over to me, and he knelt down, and he said, so, multi-system atrophy is terminal, huh? And I said, yes, sir. He said, can I pray for you? And I said, I would really love that. So he grabbed both my hands and knelt down beside my wheelchair and prayed for me.
Amen.
And I told him, I said, Kirk, God told me I don't have much time left on earth, but I need to tell my story from the beginning first. He said, Daisy, sorry, I'd already told you my name. And he said, how do you plan on doing that? And I said, I really just don't know. And he said, well, I think you need to write a book. I said, okay. And he said, here's my email address. You keep me updated on progress on the book. So I did so, and when I finished, he said, send me the manuscript. I want to read it. So I did, and then he sent me back and forward.
That's awesome.
My book. He's a real man of Christ. He's a true gentleman, that's for sure, and a man of his word. he definitely made up for not sending me that autograph.
That is an awesome story. That is really something else. And how did you get to meet him in the first place? I mean, what set that up?
It was a camp, he does American Campfire Revival, where he travels all over the U.S.
Uh-huh.
And he just happened to come to a town near where we lived. And
Wow.
that's where I went. And I did it as a VIP guest, a lot of VIP tickets, so I could have pictures and questions and answers, but never did I expect him to forward a book for me. And that was the last thing I expected.
Well, yeah, there's another unexpected moment, right? Did you put that in the book?
Exactly. His forward is in the book. If you'd like, I can read it to you because it shares a little about my story.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. Now, you said he suggested writing a book, right? So,
Yes, sir.
Had you given any thought to doing that prior to him suggesting it?
I had, because I figured, how would I get my testimony or my story around, the world for people to hear? And I thought about writing a book, but I was like, I don't even know how to go about doing it. I'm not a writer. I've only written one poem in my life, so it kind of motivated me to go about it that way.
Did you find it a difficult task, or did it just kind of flow?
Every day before I started, I just prayed to the Lord, to give me the words to put on the paper. And he did, and I would devote about 3 to 4 hours a day, not at once, but split up during the day. And it would just flow out. And then some of these memories were repressed, but they just came out on the paper anyway. It was very therapeutic, and I do have a Christian counselor that I've been seeing for 5 years, and she's an earth angel for me. But every time I got through a difficult chapter, it was always time to have an appointment with her. So that was very helpful. It was like God was timing it just right. When I go through a difficult time in the book, that it would be time to talk to her so I could get more out of what I had written.
Did you find certain parts of the book? And I've done a couple, and I have very good friends with a very good author, Terry Farley. Did you find parts of it difficult to deal with as you wrote it?
Yes, I did. I had trouble with some of the tragedies that happened to me, and
Right.
I found out when I started seeing that counselor that I had PTSD, and so that made sense to why when I would get to those certain chapters, it would be like everything would come back to me full swing. I'd start having nightmares, and just had to get on anxiety medicine. And I'd pray about it and would just ask the Lord to be with me through these difficult times and get this out. And once I did get it out on paper, it was like a peace, like a little weight lifted off my shoulders.
Right. I was gonna ask that specific question. So there was a lot of writing the book had a lot of therapeutic response, I guess.
Yes, it did, and also I forgave everyone that harmed me while I did this too. I wrote letters. Of course, I didn't give them to the people that harmed me, but I wrote letters, forgiving them for what they had done to me. And I gave it to God. I said, God, my anger towards them is in your hands now. I don't have no more anger. I truly forgive them. And I know that they have to repent to Him one day, and vengeance is His.
Yeah. Well, now, who are you trying to reach with your book? Who is your perfect audience, I guess?
I would love to reach, people that have been abused, whether it be, I've been all three, physically, sexually, and emotionally abused. And every one of them is as difficult as the other one. And I just want them to know that they're not alone, that there are people out there suffering just like they did. And God's with them. Just need to have faith, and He's going to pull you through. He's not going to put you through more than you can handle. And I'll read it in a minute, but I have a poem that kind of goes along with that, saying, but I just want them to know. I want my story to inspire them to keep moving, keep going on. I've had family members be murdered. I've had family members that have committed suicide. And I want them to know that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Right.
And God is your permanent solution. So put it in God's hands and just have faith in Him, and He'll get you out of anything.
Now, do you go into a lot of detail as far as your Christian beliefs in the book? In other words, are you writing the book as a Christian to possibly a non-Christian to try and help move them in that direction, or is that not such a big part of it?
Well, I do share, that I go to church and compete in Bible drills and such as that early child, and I do a lot of praying in the book. So
Okay.
There's a lot of. Every night, my children, when they were younger, we always had prayer time before they went to bed, so that they're pretty much every night when I put my kids in the bed, we say prayers. Sometimes in the book, I actually word the prayers, but it could be non-believers trying to lead them to know that Christ is there for them to help them through their solutions, or for Christians just to remind them as well, not to lose faith.
Amen.
That's the big thing. Even after all that I went through, I still had my faith, and I still believe in God, and I always will.
Well,
I believe that He put me through these things that He did in order to make me strong enough to face what I do have ahead of me, because with this disorder, it's very rare. It's MSA, it's called multi-system atrophy, and only 4 out of every 100,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with it. That's how rare it is.
wow.
So I've really got an unlucky card there, but I know the Lord is preparing my home in heaven, and I'm donating 10% of my proceeds to charity to research for a cure for this disorder. And I have faith that they will, and that's another reason why I think God wanted me to write this book, to bring awareness of this disorder, to the public, so they can do some more donations and some more research and find a cure later. And might not be during my time, but in the future. And as you purchase my book, there's a link in the back of the book for readers to donate to if they want to.
Well, one thing I do want you, after we conclude our interview today, please do send me the link to that organization, and I will make sure that it is included in the video portion of this, as well as any description areas to help you gain a little bit more donations for that. Sounds like a wonderful agency there, and definitely want to get that out there. Now, where can your book be purchased?
Well, we get the most proceeds from Ex Libris. It's xlibris.com. And there's a bookstore. You can search it. Search Unexpected Moments by Daisy Paige, and you'll pull it up. Or I have sent you that link, because it's a really long link to try to read out. But also, if you go to my Facebook page, Daisy Paige Author, and follow me, I have a link on there as well.
Okay, and again, I will also make sure that Facebook address is posted as well. Do you have any other websites or any other avenues where people can purchase?
I do. I have Daisy Paige at unexpected-moments.com.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people are going to go to the website, and I do encourage everybody to do just exactly that. Now, is there a way that people can get in touch with you if they would like to get in touch with you directly to find out more about your book or the people that you're trying to help with your donations?
Yes, you can go to either one of my Facebook page or my website. My website has a contact me page on there.
Okay.
And if you contact me, I'll email you back.
Okay. And now
Personally.
Okay, and that's important, because, even for me, I know sometimes people don't get me directly, but, I try to make myself as available as I can. I know how difficult it is, and anytime that you do, that you take the time to go out and and actually respond to somebody, it is appreciated. It really is, and so
Yes.
I'm glad you're doing that. Can you tell us a little bit about how's your family dealing with your situation, if that's not prying too deeply?
Some of the family members knew about what had happened because I had shared it with them before I wrote the book. But some of them, of course, were kind of shocked. They didn't realize these things went on behind our closed doors at home,
Right.
I'll tell you that, my father did not believe when I told him about I was being molested. And I was molested for 4.5 years. And when I went into counseling after I got drugged, because I tried to commit suicide. And my counselor had my father and the molester come into a session. And when I shared it with them, the molester, I shared about I was raped first. I shared that, and the molester stood up and got all upset that I had been raped and wanted to go out and find the guy that raped me. And I was like, well, "Why are you getting so upset? You molested me for 4.5 years." And my dad didn't believe it because it was such a close family member. So, I think he was just in denial and just couldn't accept that. But in the very first time that I was molested, the molester was caught by my aunt, and she just thought it was a childhood curiosity thing and took us down to the living room and prayed about it. And I thought, well, she didn't say anything, so I guess this is, normal. This is supposed to happen. So that's why I kept silent about it until after I was raped. And then, of course, I blamed myself. And the only reason why I was drugged is because the guy asked me out, and I told him no, but along with 9 other girls in the school that told him no, he laced all of us, and that's how the police put it together. And when they raided him, he tried to pull a gun on the police officer and was shot and killed. So
wow,
that took a real big hit on me,
Yeah, God bless you. It's a terrible situation, and I'm glad that you've overcome that, or at least working to overcome that. I don't think anybody ever gets over it 100% from all the discussions that I've had with people about it. It's something that lingers, but prayer helps. Prayer helps a lot.
Does.
And we all know that one day every tear is wiped away. So
exactly.
It's something to look forward to. Now, before I let you go today, I do want to ask you, is there anything else that you would like for people to know about you, about your book, anything at all that you want to get out there and let people know about?
Well, even through all of my tragedies, I was married to the father of all 3 of my children for 8.5 years, and he was very, very abusive. And my children witnessed that and saw how brutal my husband was to me. So I finally got the courage and left him. And then I was assaulted and had my skull fractured and nearly died. And I was up in upstate New York, so I was way away from home, and that was like another 4.5 years that brought me back home. But my kids are grown now. My youngest will be 27 in August, and they have all made me very proud, a very proud mom. My son's in the military, and my oldest daughter's had the same job for almost 14 years. My middle child is just bought her first home, and she's being very responsible with her money and with whom she's dating or whatever, They have just really made me proud. Now, I've been happily married at this time now for 12 years.
Amen.
To a friend of mine that I've known since I was 5 years old. So we've known each other for about 44 years. He's been there for a lot of my lifetime tragedies, and he's helped me many times. So he's fully aware of everything. And his mother knew about 10 years before we got together that we were going to be together. We were at a grocery store and happened to get in line behind her, and she said to the cashier, "Don't they make a cute couple?" And I said, "Trish, we are not a couple. We are just friends." And she said, "But one of these days, you'll see, Mom knows best." And when we started dating, she was just so happy. She was like, "I told you, Mom knows best. He's been waiting for you. He's never married. He's just been waiting for you all these years." Is it all right if I read Kirk Cameron's foreword that's in my book?
Oh, absolutely. Go right ahead. Absolutely.
It's very touching. That's why I want to read it. And it tells a little more about my story.
Sure.
It was an autumn night in Texas when I first met Daisy. She came up in a wheelchair next to me at the campfire. Her smile was bright. She shared her journey with me and told me she did not have much time left on earth. I told her to write down her story, and I would do anything I can to help her share her story with the world. I only spoke with her briefly that night, but her attitude and resilient spirit inspired me. I hope this book, the individual's incredible journey through emotional, physical, and spiritual pain, and coming through the other side of tragedy, still praising the Lord, will encourage you in your present situation. Daisy's message will bring you comfort and remind you that you are not alone in your struggles or life circumstances. I pray her words bring you hope. There is one who knows the plans he has for you, plans to give you hope in the future. Jeremiah 29:11. Kirk Cameron.
Oh, that is really good, and you could tell that's heartfelt, and that's just really awesome. Well, it has been
one more.
Yeah, go ahead. Go right ahead.
I've got this poem in my book, and this I feel is really touching, and it lets you know how God is really always there for you.
Okay.
It's called Eternal Love. Endless days, sleepless nights, as we go through our constant fights. Do we really get what we see, or is it totally up to me? Struggling through our trying times, burdened by the price of crimes. Truly, as each day ends, know that God's your only friend. As footprints in the sand did say, He really carries us all the way. Know this, for it is up to you. He already knows what you should do. Find your faith in heaven above, then you will have eternal love.
Amen. Amen. Well, Daisy, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today, and I wish you well.
It's been a pleasure being here.
It has been a pleasure, and I wish you nothing but the best. I know that your medical condition is one that it has to weigh on you each and every day, and I can only offer you my prayers and hope that there's some comfort, and you know that the great physician can offer you all the comfort that you'll ever need. But it's been a pleasure having you on, and I wish you the best. And once again, before you go, the name of the book is Unexpected Moments. And again, we will place that information about the website and where people can obtain the book, as well as the charitable organization. We'll put all that in the broadcast as well. So thank you so much for being on today, and I wish you nothing but the very best.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It was an honor.
God bless.
Thank you for joining us today for the Last Christian Podcast. And please be sure to tune in every Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Central Time for an all-new edition of this prophetic series as we continue the search for the last Christian. And remember, the Last Christian radio show with hosts J.D. Williams and T.L. Farley is now available on Evangelism Radio and Revelation Radio, both broadcasting to all 50 states and more than 160 countries around the world. For more information or broadcast times in your area, please visit www.lastchristian.net or www.revelationradio.net. Until next week, or until the trumpet sounds, may God bless you.